I have a couple pieces for you. And on the subject of language, uh, form follows function. It seems that the tech billionaires look forward to a day when they can upload their consciousness. And this sort of treats on that. It's called Are You Convinced? Are you convinced you'll be a prince when nerves for circuits are evinced? The evidence is in, my friend. The new interface is 14 pin. When switches for your eyes are all transformed, when it's printed circuit boards that keep you warm, then feeling, sensors, pressure switches is what convinced you to do the dishes. When 14 printed circuit boards are your reward, what was it? When your dreams extreme caused you alarms, you drew your sword already out, your lurzy funking turned out, but last concord, it's all those fresher batteries that you've now absorbed. And when you're looking longingly at a lamp that you long for after a nap, and when your totter gods be praised, your gyroscope replaced, and now you've got upgrades, and now you're saved. Breathing paisley, when wandering through the greedy hazily, ignoring time, no need to shave and wander then so cheerily while whistling, strolling past your sometime vacation home, your grave. When long, cool drinks bring only some beeping, bleeping digital warning, and while a stay outside in the sun brings not sunbird, but a buzzing signal and an overheated warning. No longer heating or needing breathing, wherefore reproduction, no need to pause and perfume, my laird, to take time for breeding, no kind whispers, whimpers heard. And when cool corridors of life contain no more of children, no more of striving, thriving man and wife, but when you've cashiered all your human needs retired, since you've exchanged your blood and lymph for interfaces, 14 pin insertions now, of fiber, liber, and copper wire, are you convinced? And then, naming the thing, this is something that a couple of you may have heard an earlier version of. This is called Stanley and Livingston. It's an identity crisis story. I wandered into a restaurant, could see the chef in the back. The chef had a patch over one eye. Struck me very strange. And unlike most chefs who are very focused and moving from point to point, handling this, taking care of that, this guy was very tentative. He was kind of checking over his shoulder, looking around. Seemed odd to me, and suddenly it struck me that his name must be Sven. Now, Sven is probably not the ordinary name for a Greek restaurant chef, but when the waitress came over, I said, "Tell me, what's the chef's name? The one with the eye patch." She said, "Well," really hesitant. She said, "Well, he wants us to call him Brandon." Not convinced, it seemed. So I wrote this. It's called Stanley and Livingston, Searching for Identity. Erica told the story. She sang and rang the power, the glory of that stranger, Sven, the pirate, when never quite in a hurry, never ceased to blend. Seems like a dream. He washed ashore early one morning, just a wee jot before dawning, when even the rooster himself was still abed a yawning. His glorious eye, no, not aimed forlorn at the sky, was always looking back to where they'd staged that attack. He raged back to where he lived before. He'd set sail months ago from far fair Ithaca shore. He washed up 7 months later at this busy Greek restaurant door. Sure, you might guess, looking out of this glorious, notorious mess, what's it all for? Who will confess? He was swallowed up in the swirling, hurling maelstrom in a storm-tossed sea. He'd given up all hope, or so she told me. Erica, had her suspicions. What was it got into her head? What put it into this position? They hadn't dated for months. She'd waited. What was the line that she was scornfully force-fed over a tea and crumpet lunch instead? No, not since dear Gerald, that wry Scot, had recovered from the case of mumps that he got. He washed up on a shore right at the steps of this Greek restaurant door, mangled, tangled, nearly strangled in the bedraggled seaweed net that he'll never forget. But it seemed clear to Erica, that it had all happened before. Deja vu right at her door. What was this? What had happened here? Right outside the door. What was it about? What were we all here for? He's one hell of a chef, said the manager, left Costas, who'd seen many a talented cook, but not one who could top this. Just taste a look. Sven knew his way around the cooking, that's for sure. He walked boldly into the kitchen merely minutes after climbing stiffly down from the rafters. Erica had noticed, and so did old Max. Sven was the sort of character that preferred camouflaging his tracks, regardless of the facts. Ever loose, begad, ever clever, even ephemeral in his slacker's loose grasp of the fruity, nutty facts. That patch over his eye had a life of its own. Someone had embroidered on it the tiniest crown and a sparkling little LED throne. Erica, she too had a story to tell. She was undercover doing research for a paperback book she just had to sell. Her research, you see, was part of a study of the lifelong lotion worker who had a history with Putty. Putty was the fellow you might remember was more than just a little nutty. He had dated Lorraine. That much was plain. You remember, was from Spain. He was once a sponge diver, a survivor, who turned pirate, you see. He lived on his sailboat, a thrifty little frail boat, off the south coast of Spain, where it remains to this day in a quiet little quay just north of a reef, out of reach of those irrepressible thieves. Erica's research on the theory of identity inspired her to regularly change her name in this, the fertile second half of the last century, which scarcely deserves any lingering dysentery. Her specialized research, and now this chief here, this chef named Sven, they had collided inside the Greek restaurant when he had reliably assured her, until late one night over a bottle of Chianti, they got sort of romantic. But Sven reared up. He tilted, nearly upended his cup. He paused and said, "Please stop me. Don't hop atop me. Then I might act with abandon, and therefore, from now on, dear Erica, you best call me Brandon." Oh, persistent, aren't they? And I will refrain from telling you the last one. But there we go. Sven, the Greek chef.
Please continue if you wanted to.
Okay. This last one is called. There's 75. Now it's hard to even follow the train of these guys. There's 75 countries that Trump wants to ban us from traveling. 75. So this is called There's 75. There's 75 countries that you can't visit. What the whole hell is going on? What in the name of Trump fire is it? Well, let me guess. I'm sure Iran and maybe Iraq, because who in the hello jello knows what's left to attack? It's no longer just willy-nilly tariffs today. What can I say? He keeps threatening to blow it all away. Tariffs soar and forever wars have their own special encores. Maybe Greece can get released, sure. Enough he's caught the Ukraine syndrome on the brain. Will Canada and Quebec City be rattling, jostling caboose on this goddamn crazy train? And Cuba is always a big no-go. Algeria, Albania, Antigua, and Barbuda, though it seems quite temporarily that you can still ride your bike to Bermuda. Belarus and Belize, you might try to go there, but they'll confiscate the cash filled your Belize because they don't care. Bangladesh, Bosnia, Bhutan, and if you hope to go there, there'll be extended questioning that you'll have to withstand. Colombia and Cameroon are outlawed, that's for sure. Ethiopia, Egypt, and the Republic of the Congo, even though where and who you wouldn't have to leave today. But I sure wouldn't. How about you? Haiti and Jamaica, Belize and Brazil, even with a big bribe of the Trumptatious diplomat, you'll never get there alive. Nigeria and Kazakhstan, Fiji and Gambia, there's no way to go to that place. Trumptatious opposition will put you in your place. Lebanon, Liberia, Libya, and Moldova, there's hardly any place left where his tariffs haven't rolled over you. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Senegal, Somalia, and South Sudan, we used to have these all as partners, but that's sadly long lost and over, man. Then the judge said no. No, you have no jurisdiction to make this restriction, and your grab for power is based totally on fiction. No, there I said it. There, Donnie J. You will not go, and that's where it isn't. You won't just let them go. So, yeah, those are all countries that they want to forbid us from traveling.
Oh, my Lord. 74 countries. That's crazy. When I was published in the Bombay Review and I was putting it into like some kind of a bio, I read that their readership is in 180 plus countries. I'm like, how many countries are there on planet Earth? And there were 195 at the time. So I guess only a few countries don't read the Bombay Review. Um, are you convinced you'll be a prince? I love that whole concept of uploading your consciousness. Um, and the phrase in there, looking longingly at a lamp, is what piques my interest. Um, and I love how this guy Sven, he washed up, at the shore of this Greek restaurant door, and it's always Iris. I mean Erica. Uh, in this the fertile half of the last century. I mean, it's so profoundly funny that you could just keep going through the layers there.
Well,
At
I
some,
actually took the poem to the restaurant the other day and read it to them. The waitress was roaring with laughter. She takes it back to the kitchen. The kitchen explodes in laughter. And Sven, so she calls to the chef, Sven, hey, Sven, come here, come here. So he comes out, eye patch and all, and he goes, well, if nothing else, I get the girl in the end. So
nice. Oh my God. I guess I'll have to stop your